how you read this, I thought it could be drastically worse.
I don't see how it could be drastically worse. I mean, because you do end up with really tough opponents going up against the AFC North and the Nfc West.
I don't think the NFC West is as good as other people think it is.
Aside from the Seattle Seahawks, I think that's a very, very tough division.
And see, I don't. I mean, and I shouldn't have said it that way. I don't think the Cardinals are good. I don't think the Seahawks are good. The 49ers I have much better than I probably should. But, I mean, other than that, yeah, you got the Rams, yeah, you got the 49ers, but, I mean, there's two very winnable games in there. If you're watching on our YouTube stream, you will be able to see I am going through every team schedule by schedule. And at the end of this show, you'll know exactly who I think is going to win the Super Bowl.
Carolina Panthers will start out the season at home against the Cleveland Browns. And, you know, I mean, you do start out if you believe that the Arizona Cardinals are not that good. And as I believe, there will be no Deshaun Watson for the first few weeks of the season for the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, that's still a big question mark. I mean, you start out the first 4 weeks with 3 quote-unquote winnable games. The Cleveland Browns at the Giants. You get the Arizona Cardinals in there as well. New Orleans Saints sandwiched in between those, though, in week 3. That's going to be your first big, tough test.
I just went through the schedule. I have Carolina at 4-13. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, I've done this 1,600 times, and I can't get above 6. I really can't.
Right.
I can't get above 6 wins. I don't see how it's going to happen.
Right. Carolina Panthers, hopefully they will have a resurgence this year with Christian McCaffrey coming back healthy, the offensive line fixed, the defense has never been has not been a problem the last couple of years, so hopefully things will sway their way, but the tough schedule does not lend for a lot of wins for the Carolina Panthers. Now let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons, because I can't get the Falcons more than 3 wins.
It doesn't go well for me. Anytime I've done this, it has been 3. I think I did get to 5 one time.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, this team's not good. And here's the thing. I routinely say, if you're going to be bad, be really, really bad. And I think Atlanta holds up their end of that bargain.
You don't have a great quarterback. You don't have amazing weapons other than Cordero Patterson and Kyle Pitts. I just don't see this team having
Drake
a whole
London.
Well,
you have weapons, just not a quarterback.
It's still a question, though. It's still a question of, you know, there are a lot of people that believe that Drake London may not be a great receiver in this league. I'm not saying I'm one of them. I'm just saying it is a question mark for a lot of people.
And I think those people are silly.
I know you do.
Because I love Drake London. I think he's a fantastic receiver. And you put him on the other side of Kyle Pitts, and to me, it's a match made in heaven. On the YouTube stream, I just went through it. Atlanta Falcons, 2-15. All righty then.
Going to be fighting for that number 1 pick next year. And, you know, despite the fact that you did get Desmond Ridder in this draft, you'll have the opportunity to draft a really good quarterback at the top of the first round next year.
I have them beating Carolina in Atlanta, and I have them beating Chicago in Atlanta. Other than that, it's kind of tough to see how they're going to win any more than that.
Right. I don't see the Atlanta Falcons having a good season. But there again, this is the building for the future. Mm-hmm. Building for the future.
I mean, you had, in large part, if you're going to be good in this league, you have to be really bad before you're good. Well, Atlanta has done the really bad part. So now you just got to build the team down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to the other 2 teams in that division, and this is where the spicy take of mine has now spilled over onto you because you see it my way.
Well, here's the thing. I believe this division is going to be super close at the top between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. A lot of tough games on the schedule for both teams. It's going to be a make or break one game kind of thing. One key game in the season. I don't know what game that's going to be. Maybe it's going to be the matchup against the LA Rams for both of them to determine who wins the division. I think this is a really good Saints team.
It is a good Saints team.
And look, I mean,
it is a good Saints team. They're better than you thought they would be. And then after I saw the schedule last night, there's a better than zero chance that your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not going to win this division.
I went through the entire thing twice. Twice.
Did it just break your heart?
It did break my heart.
Did it just hurt?
It broke my heart because both times I went through it, and the New Orleans Saints win this division. Now, the two teams ended up tied both times I did it, but because of the tiebreaker, and I think it all came down to the fact that in the NFC North 17th game matchup, they wound up, the New Orleans Saints wound up with the Minnesota Vikings, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wound up getting the Green Bay Packers. That's like the big difference to me between the two schedules.
I've done this just a good number of times. Mm-hmm. I cannot stop putting the New Orleans Saints at 12-5 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 11-6. I've done it over and over and over again because I thought, maybe I'm being spicy. Maybe I'm trying to, get under your skin. And no, I've come to the conclusion that I feel like the New Orleans Saints are going to win this division and Tampa Bay is going to finish second. I have the Saints at 12-5, the Bucks at 11-6.
Yeah. To me, that's too many losses for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but, you also believe that Tampa's going to go to Pittsburgh and lose.
I think that's much more daunting than you believe it is.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe in Pittsburgh at all. That is the one thing that I have learned.
Way more than you do.
Oh, absolutely. That is the one thing that I have learned over this scenario. Last year, I got all of the crap about the Las Vegas Raiders. This year, I'm going to get all of the crap about the Pittsburgh Steelers because I just don't believe in that team. You don't have a quarterback that I believe in. Yes, I still believe in your coach, but your schedule is hard, and we are going to obviously talk about that schedule coming up later. But the New Orleans Saints, if they're going to be a real contender, we're going to find out right in the meat of their schedule.
Just throwing this out there, the Saints are plus quite a nice number to win their division.
Yes.
We might have something at the end of this show that goes to that. If you watch our college football Fridays through the season, you might know what it is that I'm going to do before we put this in mothballs until the fall.
Those who don't believe in the Saints don't believe in Jameis Winston.
And I get not believing in Jameis. Here's what I don't understand. How do you look at that defense and go, they're 8-9? You don't have to be all that good. You just have to be good enough.
Mm-hmm. The stretch between week 6 and week 13 goes like this for them. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Arizona Cardinals, Las Vegas Raiders, Baltimore Ravens, at the Pittsburgh Steelers, the LA Rams, at the 49ers, and then at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is a gauntlet that New Orleans is going to have to get through to be able to win this division.
And I'm not going to lie. I have them losing to the Ravens. I have them losing to the 49ers. I have them losing to your Bucks in Tampa, and I have them losing to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And they still win the division. That's one of my favorite bets on the board. After last night, after looking at the schedule, one of my favorite bets on the board is New Orleans Saints to win the division.
Okay. New Orleans Saints to win the division.
That's a really good division. Mm-hmm. Now we go to, when I woke up this morning, I said I was only going to say nice things. A less than good division.
The NFC least. In the NFC least, I don't see a way that the Philadelphia Eagles don't come out as the division champions.
And I don't either, to be really honest with you. The more I've done this, the more I cannot figure out, how do you not win this division? We did this morning over and over and over again because every time we did it, somehow the Eagles were 9-0. Mm-hmm. Or they were, whatever the case may be. It just kept happening.
The beginning of that schedule is super easy, especially if you compare it to the schedules that wound up being given to the NFC South. The NFC East, we've seen, if you've seen one of those graphics about hardest schedules, the NFC East teams are all at the bottom with the easiest schedules based on last year's winning percentage. But when you start out a season, you have a pretty decent team. You just added an elite weapon in A.J. Brown. I get a lot of us don't really believe in Jalen Hurts, but still, they made the playoffs last year. And does A.J. Brown make him a better quarterback? I believe the answer has to be equivocally yes.
And I would agree.
So the beginning of the schedule for them comes out with Detroit, Minnesota, Washington, Jacksonville, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Texans, and the Commanders. That is a pretty easy schedule.
Live on the YouTube stream, I just went through the Eagles' schedule. I was as mean to them as I could possibly be. I graded this as harshly as I could. They still win 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
Still! You play the Jaguars and the Lions and the Texans, and oh my good Lord, the schedule's terrible. They're the only team in the league that I looked at and went, I don't see how you're not going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Then let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys get a pretty tough start to the season because the
start's ugly.
Yeah, well, they go Bucks and the Bengals back-to-back first 2 weeks. Then you get 2 division games against the Giants and the Commanders. But then you go with the Rams and the Eagles. That's a tough start. The back end of that schedule is not great.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty. Flat out. I mean, you end this season with the Eagles at the Titans and Washington. That's not ideal. Because Washington, look, I like Washington to a point, and I think they could be competitive in this division. I think there is a much higher likelihood that with 6 weeks to go in this season, Washington's feeling really good about where they are, and the Cowboys are talking about the disaster that has been the 2022 NFL season.
Right.
Because they got just annihilated by the schedule, and I'll tell you why. We've all seen the graphic of, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. Do they, though? I mean, do they really? You start out with Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's in Jerry World. I don't care if you played on the moon. It doesn't matter to me. They're better than you by a lot. Then you play the Bengals. They're also better than you.
Joe Burrow against that secondary.
And, yeah, they're winnable games. You get the Bears. You get the Lions. I keep doing it. I keep coming out at either 9-8 or 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
Yep. And then there's the teams at the cellar of this division.
And I don't think it's as drastic as you do.
I do. I think there's a 4-game split between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders, and I don't see the Giants winning a whole lot of games.
You have been tough on the Giants. You have been tough on the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as. I mean, in the breakdown, I've got them both at 5-12. So it's not exactly like I'm in love with any of them. But it's more because I'm just so convinced that the Eagles will sweep through them.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys will sweep through them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe in Carson Wentz. I don't trust Carson Wentz in the least.
How can you? After what you saw last year with the Indianapolis Colts and the meltdown that happened at the end of the season, how can you believe in him being the leader of the Washington Commanders? Now, week 1, you're going to get your chance at some payback there, Carson Wentz, because you wound up with the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 1. So the Washington Commanders, they actually should start out 2-0.
And I have them.
You have them losing to the Detroit Lions.
Look, Detroit's schedule, and we'll get to the North later in this hour. Detroit's schedule is one of those that I keep coming around to. Detroit's better than they were last year. They're going to be able to run the ball really well. I like the offense. The defense is going to be a struggle. And I would say the number I have on Detroit's going to be higher than people thought. Because if you come up against a team that can't just shoot out with you, and look, I've already said I don't trust Carson Wentz.
Right.
They're going to be able to beat teams that are their level or worse. Now, are they going to go in and beat the Cowboys? No. Washington's they're in that 5, 6, 7 win range to me.
Yep.
You tied yourself to the wrong quarterback. And I go back to what I said, was 3 weeks before free agency? How much different would I feel about this team if you had Jimmy Garoppolo? Right now, you're one more Carson Wentz doing exactly what it is that he does constantly from this being Taylor Heineke and looking exactly like it did last year.
Right.
And the schedule didn't do you any favors.
No.
They don't go back-to-back bad opponents really at any point in this schedule except for a stretch where they go Texans, Falcons, Giants 3 straight weeks.
Mm-hmm. And then they get a bye week and get the Giants again.
And before that, they had gone Eagles, Vikings, Colts, Packers. There's a Titans in there split up by the Bears. Mm-hmm. Just you didn't get a lot of advantages there.
And then that brings us to the cellar dwellers, the New York Giants. I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones. It's just not going to happen. This is one of those things I'm going to have to see it on the field to believe that this is a team that has been turned around. Do I like their new head coach? Yes, I do. Do I like the fact that they brought in Wink Martindale? Absolutely.
I think that's right. But, okay, I'm going to say something, and this is not going to be popular with Giants fans. Do you know who you are right now? You're the New York Jets a year ago. It's exactly who you are. I believe in the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. I believe in the front office. I believe in it all. The problem is that you have a deficit in terms of players. You're paying a copious amount of money to a lot of guys that I don't buy. Kenny Golladay. Sorry, had something caught there.
Would you believe more in Kenny Golladay if he had a legitimate quarterback throwing in the ball?
No, because he can't stay healthy.
Okay.
And we've gone 2 years in a row, he can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the Commanders and the Giants both at 5-12. The Cowboys at 9-8. And much like Chris D said in our YouTube comments, the Eagles are going to win this division.
Yes.
And I don't think it's going to be all that close.
No, because the offseason that they've had has just been phenomenal.
Well, and it's not even that. The division was gift-wrapped to them by the schedule. Jalen Hurts only has to be almost as good as he was last year. I don't need you to take a step forward. Now you have the things around you where you can be that same guy. And you're going to win 11, 12, 13 games.
Mm-hmm. The NFC least, it will live up to its name.
There are two less than great teams in that division.
Mm-hmm. Probably the worst division in football again. And just an injury or two away from being no doubt the worst division in the NFL. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming up next, we'll talk about the NFC West. Just how bad does Jeremy believe his best team in the NFC from 2 years ago has become down in the desert?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather has showed up in the forecast here off the Atlantic with some east winds across the Carolinas here. There's an area of low pressure that's in park for the top of the weekend down off the South Carolina coast. 56 degrees our low tonight, and some rain showers possible tomorrow, high 75. Chance for some hit-and-miss showers, thunder showers Sunday and Monday, kind of staying gray. High temps in the 70s and 80s. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Finding a great hire can be a challenge. That's why there's Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 toward your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Katie Dean. I'm a Democrat running for Congress, and I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, May 17th. I'm a Class 5 kayaker, mountain biker, environmental engineer, and I run an auto repair shop with my husband. I've spent the best moments of my life in Western North Carolina. We have to protect our public lands, but politicians aren't listening and don't understand. Send someone to Congress who has the grit to protect what makes Western North Carolina so special. I'm Katie Dean. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Katie Dean for Congress.
Do you think all premium fuels are the same? Well, your engine doesn't. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus helps keep your engine running like new, because it's engineered to defend against 4 main engine threats: gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. So next time, choose Shell's most advanced fuel ever. It's fuel for thought. In engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline.
I'm Michelle V. Woodhouse for Congress, and I authorized this message. Madison Cawthorn has self-destructed and cannot win the race for Congress. That's why true mountain conservatives are now moving to support America First conservative Michelle Woodhouse. Conservatives understand that Michelle Woodhouse is our only chance to keep our congressional seat in conservative hands. A vote for Madison Cawthorn is a wasted vote that could allow an establishment politician like Chuck Edwards to win our seat. That's why it's so important that conservatives unite behind Michelle Woodhouse now. Michelle Woodhouse will fight against Joe Biden's socialist agenda, and Michelle Woodhouse is the only candidate who can win in November. This race is coming down to two people, conservative Michelle Woodhouse versus Chuck Edwards, who is the establishment candidate. In other words, Chuck Edwards is just like Richard Burr and Adam Kinzinger. Conservatives, the choice is clear. Michelle Woodhouse for Congress. Paid for by Michelle V. Woodhouse for Congress.
Hey football fans, I'm Micah Parsons.
And I'm Kyle Pitts.
With new Old Spice dry spray, you can smell ready for anything, on the field or off.
I smell ready for a touchdown.
I smell ready for a pick six.
I smell ready for a max contract.
I smell ready for a ball.
Actually, you do. You do smell good.
Thanks, Kyle.
Smell ready for anything with Old Spice dry spray, available at your local Walmart.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
I do love a good Twitter troll, Jeremy, and I know you do as well.
I usually am one.
In 3 days this past week, a Twitter troll got 10,000 likes or subscribers or followers. That's what it is. You can see how much I do social media stuff.
You don't Twitter much.
I don't Twitter much. 10,000 followers in 3 days. The account that was set up at NFL Game Leaks. And the only thing that they did was just put out BS schedules all week long.
I fell for it.
You did.
I fell for it.
There were a lot of blue check marks that fell for it as well, as they just retweeted the crap that this dude was putting out. In 3 days, 10,000 followers, and then yesterday morning, whoever it was, I keep calling him, it could have been a woman, they dropped the bomb of literally everything I put out was not real.
It was false.
It was all false.
The New York Post fell for it. Many people fell for it.
At NFL Game Leaks yesterday morning at 11:47 a.m. said, y'all idiots will really believe anything that you see on the internet without fact-checking your sources. Anyone who has a blue check, check my likes, who retweeted me needs to have their check taken away.
Agreed. I didn't do that. So I just saw it and went, oh, our schedule's brutal. Then I saw the real schedule and went, can we have that other one back? Mm-hmm. I want that other schedule back.
10,000 likes in 3 days.
The USFL just managed to again tell me not a real big boy league. In last week's game, Michigan Panthers coach and former Tennessee Titan coach Jeff Fisher tried to audible his point after decision. In the USFL, you can go for 1, 2, or 3, which has already told me it's not really a big boy league. Anyway, he changed his mind, called a timeout, and then tried to go for 2. The only problem is the officials said, no, can't do that. Well, the USFL realized maybe we shouldn't have done that. In their press release last week, the Michigan Panthers scored a touchdown, tried to go for 2, and we didn't allow them to. Well, we're changing that rule. Starting in Week 5, the USFL has accepted a proposed rule change from Jeff Fisher that will now allow a coach to use a timeout to change his original extra point option. Mm-hmm. That is the most, I don't need to watch this, press release I've ever seen.
Why?
We're changing the rules as we're going. Stop.
That's a stupid rule. It's a stupid rule in the first place.
It's stupid that you can go for 3 in football.
I agree with that. However, I mean, coach changes his mind, sets up to go for 2 in a
Why
NFL
would you change
game.
your mind?
I don't know.
Why would you change your mind?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't like the defense. Maybe he didn't like the coverage. I don't know.
Jeff Fisher must just not do well at drive-thrus. I'll take a number 1. Oh, no, I wanted chicken nuggies.
So even then, you could call a timeout and audible.
He's that guy. He's that guy that orders. They make his food, and he pulls around and goes, so sorry, I don't want what I just ordered. Can I order new things now?
Leading up to the NFL schedule release, I said several times, watch out for what is going to happen with the Arizona Cardinals schedule.
It's so bad.
The first 6 weeks of the season, which they will be without Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, because of the positive PED test that he turned in, they could very well wind up 0-6. Now there's some games in there that are winnable, but you start out with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Rams first 3 games of the season. That's 0-3, no doubt in my mind. Then you go to the Carolina Panthers. You can win that game.
I don't have them winning that game.
Oh, you don't?
I don't have them winning that game.
I do have them winning that game, but that's the only game in the first 6 weeks that I have them winning, because after that they host the Philadelphia Eagles and then have to go to the Seattle Seahawks.
This is one of those things that I really prey on, is people not looking at the psychology of this. If this team starts off 0-3, and they're going to, this will come off the rails in a hurry. The Kyler Murray strife, the Cliff Kingsbury thing. I have the Arizona Cardinals at 3-14. I think they're one of the worst teams in this league.
The first time I went through the schedule, I had them with 4 wins. The second time I went through the schedule, I had them with 2 wins. This could be god-awful.
I think it's just good. And look, I don't think they're one of the 5 least talented teams.
No.
I think they're very poorly coached. I think there's a lot of drama around that team. And the DeAndre Hopkins thing just put the cherry on top. Then you look at the schedule and go, you're going to be 1-5 at best. That is your best case scenario.
Yep. And then you have a very tough stretch from week 10 all the way down to week 15, as you've got the Rams, the 49ers, the Chargers, then the bye week. Then you got to take on the New England Patriots, which you could very well see Cliff Kingsbury getting out-coached by Bill Belichick.
Oh, you're
and
going to
that
see
game.
that. The question is, does Bill have enough horses to keep up with that offense? And I'm going to say yes.
And then, speaking of horses, they have to go to the Denver Broncos that next week. It's not going to be a good year.
Oh, you talk about a team that's going to be angry when they see where I have them.
No
the
doubt.
Denver Broncos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's one that you're not going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about the AFC West coming up in the next hour. Also in the NFC West, the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, this is a team that you haven't believed in 2 years.
Nope. And now they're going to crater into the world.
Now they have no Russell Wilson. They have Drew Lock and Geno Smith as their quarterbacks, unless they make a move. Still possible that they can make a move, but why would you when you know that at best case scenario, you're going like 5 wins?
I fully believe that this team's going to crater into the ocean and be picking number 1 next year. I think this is the worst team in the league based on the talent on the roster, the schedule, and all of the other mitigating factors. I have gone up and down this trying to figure out where exactly are you supposed to win games. You start off with Denver, who is going to annihilate you.
Agreed.
Then you go San Francisco. There is a 2-week window with the Falcons and the Lions. Then I legitimately could see a path where they don't win a game for 2 months.
Secret time, I don't have them winning both of those games.
I don't either. I'm losing the Lions.
I did too. Yeah, but then you go a long time before you can win another game. Or before you probably will win more than one more game.
They're just not good.
Yeah, the schedule just didn't play well for them. And Seattle, you want to run the ball in a passing league. I'm going to be out on that from the jump. Sorry. Then the two teams at the top of the division. Let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco, they got a question at quarterback with Trey Lance. But is the rest of that team good enough to make them an actual contender?
I don't think Trey Lance has to be that good. I really don't. I think Trey Lance has to be a mobile threat. He has to be good enough to get the ball to Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because probably more so than any team in the NFL, the schedule did them a ton of favors. You start off with Chicago and Seattle. That's two really good get-your-feet-wet games for Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yes, you do play Denver. You get the Rams at home.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been able to beat San Francisco at home in forever. Then you go Carolina Falcons before you get into the real meaty part of your schedule. I almost can't find a way that the San Francisco 49ers are not the one seed in the NFC. That's the one that could burn me. There is no pick that you will hear in this entire show that could burn me worse than San Francisco. Because if Trey Lance is just a turnover machine, can't get acclimated, it could get ugly.
Yeah. In the two times that I went through it, I ended up, they had 12 wins one time, 11 wins another time. I don't feel like that offense is going to be high-powered enough to keep up with other high-powered offenses. Like the Los Angeles Chargers, Las Vegas Raiders. Games like that are going to be super close, in my opinion. And it's going to come down to, does Trey Lance have his big boy panties on to be able to win these games?
Well, I mean, and that's where things could go sideways. You know, if you go through that stretch, I have them losing to the Chiefs, I have them losing to the Rams. After the bye week, 4 of your 5 games are at home. That's about as good as you could ever hope for.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you'll have half a season worth of tape on Trey Lance, figure out exactly how to do this, and I trust virtually nobody in the NFL of how to use him more than I would trust Kyle Shanahan. That's the number that, I got him at 13-4. That's the number people will see and go, wow, that is drastically better than I would have thought.
It's putting a lot of faith in what is essentially a rookie quarterback.
And I'm okay with that.
And then the defending Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams. It's just like it was last year. This same time last year, we're going through the LA Rams schedule going, where are the losses?
Oh, there's some.
There are some.
There's a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Like many contenders, they have a stretch that will tell you, are you the 1 seed or are you a wild card that has to fight your way through the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately for them, I hate the opening week matchup for them. They're the reigning champion that is, I believe, going to get absolutely smacked in the mouth opening week.
Do you know how many times that's happened? How many times the Super Bowl team, the defending...
I don't remember a time. I've actually thought about this a couple times today.
Twice. It's happened twice. 2012, the Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Giants in the opening game. And then in 2017, the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember that Monday Night Football game where we all got to meet Kareem Hunt?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching that on a interrupted television broadcast down in the Dominican Republic, watching the Kansas City Chiefs beat the New England Patriots on Monday Night Football. But that's only twice. Since they've been doing the NFL kickoff game for the last 20-something years, and the defending Super Bowl champion has been in that game, it's only happened twice that team has lost.
And I think it's going to happen this year. You're catching a very angry Buffalo Bills team. This is a shot on national television in a standalone game where you can go, hey, look at what we have now. Hey, look at all the toys we have now. And I think you're good. And I'm not even talking about the Von Miller thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at this going, the Rams lost more than you think. They lost a lot of pieces. And I think it's going to take a minute for all of these things to coalesce. you pair that with one of my favorite teams who does have a former player of yours on their team that might have their hair a little more on fire than you're used to, that does not set up well for the Rams.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I'm going 11-6.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot more losses than I could come up with. I was fighting between 3 and 5, and it was a stretch for me to get to 5.
The ones I have them losing, obviously, to the Bills in week 1, at the 49ers, at the Saints, at the Chiefs, at the Packers, and against the Chargers.
Yep.
That's 6. And you're still a comfortable playoff team.
Okay. Let's talk about the NFC North. The Green Bay Packers have a stranglehold on that division, and I don't think it stops. I don't, I care that Devontae Adams is no longer there.
As well you should.
But it's still Aaron Rodgers. And I still believe that this team is going to give him another weapon. I can't get away from Odell Beckham Jr. winding up with the Green Bay Packers, which will give them a shot in the arm down the stretch of the season after Odell comes back from injury. We saw how effective he was late in the year last year with the Los Angeles Rams. You give him Aaron Rodgers, things could get very, very exciting for the Green Bay Packers.
How many losses do you have for Green Bay?
4.
And I tried aggressively to be hard on them.
4, and that's with a weird one.
What is your weird one?
The first week of the season.
That's mine too.
The Minnesota Vikings upsetting them at home.
We have discussed where we're at. We have not talked about individual games or anything like that.
We have not. Week 1.
I have them losing week 1
Week 1, you come out flat. It's just not working yet.
Well,
you
they
don't
did it
have
last
all
year.
the pieces. Yeah, absolutely. That
Remember
awful
getting
game
smoked by the Saints last year?
Yep. And I see a path for the same thing to happen with an underrated Minnesota Vikings team that, will kind of put themselves on the map. I've got them losing that game. I've got them losing in Tampa in week 3. I got them losing in Buffalo. And then I got another, you might consider this one strange, but the Tennessee Titans. I got the Tennessee Titans going in there and just snaking a victory.
In Lambeau.
Yeah.
That's not the one I have.
Yeah.
I have them losing to the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
In Miami.
That's not bad.
I think they're going to struggle with Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they're still 13-4, and that will comfortably win you this division.
No doubt. No doubt about it. Now, the second place team in that division is going to be the Minnesota Vikings.
There's no doubt about that to me.
No, because Detroit's not there, and Chicago's god-awful. Chicago might go 0-17.
Chicago's bad.
They are. They are
Chicago's
very,
bad.
very bad. But the Minnesota Vikings, I believe in that system that they've got up there. And with Kevin O'Connell coming in. O'Connell coming in, I think that offense is going to be terrifying.
I've got them at 11-6. I think Minnesota's going to be that sneaky team that gets in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That come and we've talked about this. There is a clear delineation to me between the high-end front runners in the NFC and the rest of that conference. And I've said there is going to be a team that snakes it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to snake that 7th spot, and I think it's the Minnesota Vikings.
But I think you look at the Minnesota Vikings schedule and go, there's not a really daunting stretch in there anywhere. There's some up and down weeks where, oh my goodness, we got to play, we got to play the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, but the next week you get the Giants. So there's a lot of up and down for them.
Minnesota got more favors than practically any team in the league.
Mm-hmm. If we believe the Cardinals are going to be down, they go Miami Dolphins, Cardinals, Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills. Dallas Cowboys is a little tougher.
That's where the schedule could flip. There's a 3-week stretch. In week 11, they play the Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
They could lose all 3 of those games.
Yep.
The thing of it is they're all 3 at home.
All right, now
And I do not like having to go into that, especially if that team's good. Now, you got to understand, the way I have the schedule breaking down, they're like, 6-3? 5-4 going into that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have these 3, and everybody's going to know this is the pivot point of the schedule. That place will be insanity. You'll have a lot of people that look like me with gigantic horns over and over again. And I have them winning all three of those.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Detroit Lions.
Oh, this won't be pretty.
The team that's building, I got them at 5 wins. That's the best I could do, though. It's the best I could do.
You have, I think, done exactly what I did.
I got them beating Seattle. I got them beating the Bears, the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Bears again. That's the best you can hope for, I think.
I have them winning 4 at home and 2 on the road. They beat Washington, Seattle, the Jaguars, and the Bears at home, and then they catch 2 on the road in a row at the Bears and at the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
I thought you had them at 5.
Well, I mean,
that's 6.
We had the same wins. You just had 1 extra than I did.
I mean, look, this Lions team is better. And I told you, they're going to get a game that you don't expect them to. For me, it's Washington week 2.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think they're better than Washington. However, you catch that home game. Let's say they're close with Philadelphia in week 1. You got a little momentum. Washington's looking around going, can you believe we traded for this guy?
Right.
And they go into Detroit and get smacked.
I do love the fact that they brought in DJ Shark. I do, you pair him with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know we don't really believe in Jared Goff, but you have to remember Jared Goff can put up numbers. They've got DeAndre Swift, who is also going to be a pretty good weapon. The offensive line is good. That offense is not going to be a problem. And depending on when Jameson Williams is able to come back, I mean, they could put the fear of God into some teams this year. The defense is not good, which when they get into matchups against offenses that we really believe in, it's gonna be tough. Like I'm staring at that Buffalo Bills game. It's gonna be tough.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they're not winning more than 6 games, but that would be a great growth for them.
Mm-hmm.
You walk out of this year with 6 wins. You got 2 picks in the first round next year. Everything's going your way. Everything's going exactly according to the plan.
Not going according to plan is the Chicago Bears.
I'll guarantee you do not have less wins for this team than I do.
Unless you have them at 0, then I'm going to say I do too. I have I
haven't won in 16.
Mm-hmm. As do I.
And here's the thing. I don't necessarily think they're that bad. I don't know if they're supposed to beat. Virtually every winnable game they have is on the road. I don't believe in Justin Fields. Now he has no weapons and he has no offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
How am I supposed to believe in that? Could they go into Atlanta and beat Atlanta? I mean, in theory. Could they go in and beat Detroit? In theory. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. I have them winning in week 3 against the Houston Texans.
That's exactly who I have them beating.
That's it. That's all I could come up with.
And it's the same theory in reverse. It's Houston going on the road. I don't see any way you're going to go on the road and win a game.
We hammered the pick when they picked their new head coach, Matt Eberflus. Why would you go with a defensive coach when you just put all of your eggs in the basket of a quarterback? And then what did you do in the offseason? You focused on the defense. I mean, granted, they did make some pretty good, I will say some decent picks on the offensive line in the draft.
And they're still rookies.
Yeah.
And they're still rookies with a kid that loves to take too long in the pocket.
And their chief blocker is going to be basically a rookie because he was hurt last year in Tevin Jenkins.
Who I still maintain's a right tackle that they're playing on the left side.
Right. So it is not going to be pretty for the Chicago Bears, and they're gonna be tasked with the big decision next year of, well, how bad was Justin Fields this past year? Do we need to go ahead and draft another quarterback at the top of this draft?
Nope.
No.
You take Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Take Will Anderson and be done with it. That's actually the team I have picking up. I thought it was Seattle.
Yeah, that's your Khalil Mack replacement.
Mm-hmm.
You got hammered by Chicago fans for giving up on Khalil Mack. And this is going to be the replacement next year.
And this is exactly what I told you when they traded up for Justin Fields. This is the quarterback that needed the most around him.
Mm-hmm.
He has the most raw talent of any quarterback that was in that class. He also needs the most around him because he's the furthest away. And nobody wanted to listen to me, and everybody wanted to call me a moron. Now you're the worst team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really think it's all that close.
There will be a few competitive games on that schedule.
Oh, I'm going to challenge a few. You name those for me.
Okay.
What are the competitive games?
The competitive games will be the Houston Texans in Week 3. I think the Giants game in Week 4 will be competitive.
Smothered, and covered.
Really?
You're going to New York at a time where, trust me, I've been a New York fan for a long time in more than one sport. Their fan base is going to be maniacal at that point because they will still believe that with Daboll, we can still make the playoffs this year because the division's bad. You caught that game at the wrong time.
Right.
They'll get eviscerated by the Giants.
Okay. Then I would say both games with the Lions will be competitive. The Atlanta Falcons game will be competitive.
They could beat the Lions at home. I just don't see it.
I don't either.
I don't.
But that's where you are.
Because unfortunately you caught that game too late too because Detroit's already had their bye. And now I think those young pieces are going to start coming together and the defense is going to be slightly better.
You're just not good. And it's going to be a 1-15-ish finish. And there is no path to this team being any kind of good.
Nope.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. We're going through the NFL schedule, giving you the prognostication for the 2022 season that will be coming up right before we know it. I know we've got a little bit of a lull coming, but you know what? We got Jeremy's picks to lean on for the NBA tonight. Green on Green is coming up next.
River Ridge Marketplace in East Asheville has been a staple of Buncombe County for generations, and now they're inviting you to their Spring Fling, May 28th from 11 to 4. There'll be food from their great restaurants such as Happy Cinco de Mayo, J&S Cafeteria, and many more. They'll also have sidewalk sales from their amazing vendors, snow cones, inflatables, and a petting zoo for the kids. So join me May 28th from 11 to 4 at River Ridge Marketplace.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Do you have joint pain in your knees or hips or shoulder or back? Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows how disruptive it is.
How can you focus? How can you be at your optimal best when your body's under attack by pain?
That's why Emmitt's such a proponent of QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is here with regenerative options using natural biologics, non-surgical alternatives that offer lasting relief for pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders.
This natural biological treatment gives them the chance to get back in the game and to have a normal life.
QC Kinetics treatments laser focus on areas of intense pain, allowing your body to heal itself with no drugs, so you can focus on normal life.
Walking up the stairs without pain, getting on your bicycle without pain, running again, playing with the kids.
Your consultation is absolutely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 826-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
Deep in the remote jungles of Colombia, a new species has been spotted. Humans. These humans are using animal mating techniques in their search for true love and are forbidden to speak to one another.
Not talking sucks. You either have your mate here or you don't.
Someone's got to go home.
This is it, the jungle or die.
Dating's never been this wild. Love in the Jungle on Discovery Plus. Start your free trial. Terms apply.
Jose, how much longer till this dough's ready?
No one can bake gluten-free vegan goodies better than Surrey.
Wait, both Jim and Marion's last days are the same day?
But he needs to whip up a new shift lead without interviews burning his time.
Gotta get interviewing before my calendar is cooked. Oh, can you stop?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, we need to talk about the savings I just got at Kohl's. Since the weather's getting warmer, I picked up some new tops for just $21.99, found shorts for $19.99, and got a pair of sandals for just $17. Oh, and on top of those already amazing deals, you can get an extra 15% off or even more with the Kohl's card. So yeah, if you're looking for more style and more savings, do yourself a favor and head to Kohl's. Select styles, 15% offer ends May 15th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Now is the time to get in the driver's seat of your career. Ingles Markets is looking for new regional drivers to join our Land to Sky distributors fleet. Start with 2 weeks paid time off and paid holidays. Our drivers average over $80,000 per year and they're home every week. Land to Sky offers excellent pay and a great benefits package. 6 months of CDLA driving experience is required to apply. Visit ingles-markets.com/careers to know more. That's ingles-markets.com/careers.
Coffee's for closers only. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Well, the Mavericks kind of got me. I didn't quite see that coming. But trying to get back on the right track tonight. 4 picks in the NBA. First, the Milwaukee Bucks are a 1.5-point favorite tonight at home against the Boston Celtics. This is where it ends. This is where the Celtics get put away just like the Nets did. It's surprising to a lot of people, not even vaguely surprising to me. I got the Bucks minus the 1.5, under 212.5. If this game stays close, go under. If you think the Celtics are going to find a way to pull this out or it's a blowout, go over. Finally, the Memphis Grizzlies are an 8-point dog tonight. Over-under's 218.5. This scrappy little group of Grizzlies, I think there's more to worry about with the Warriors than they want to let on. I know I've heard all of the narratives of, we just have to bury that game. Well, you better bury the two directly before that, too, because you looked exactly the same. It just didn't come back to bite you. I'm taking the Grizzlies plus the 8 over 218.5.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
Take those wagers to bethouse.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500. My favorite button. Here we go.
Who's gonna break the news?
Ha!
Who's gonna break the news?
Give it to me.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
This is from Adam Schefter. The Las Vegas Raiders have traded Brian Edwards and a 2023 7th-round pick to the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, no.
In exchange for the Falcons' 2023 5th-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
That's just as groundbreaking as yesterday's Jarrett Stidham trade.
Man, the Raiders are just...
They're just out here making moves,
We're just out
man.
here doing stuff. Like, hey, we have players. They should go somewhere.
Brian Edwards.
The Keelan Cole signing yesterday allowed you to do that. Keelan Cole now will be the 3 with the Raiders. If it's not him, it's Demarcus Robinson. They have 4 guys that could theoretically be the 3. It's Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
The Brian Edwards thing did not age well. I remember a time where I thought he was going to be a real player in this league.
I remember that.
And now you look at the Atlanta Falcons and, buddy.
Shoo, buddy.
Marcus Mariota has just a land of misfit toys outside of Drake London and Kyle Pitts.
Old Drake London. Look forward to that 50% target share between him and Kyle Pitts.
Oh, it might be higher than that. They might have a usage rate that looks like Luka Doncic in the NBA.
But if Calvin Ridley comes back the next year and they don't trade him or anything,
they will. He will never play another game in Atlanta.
You don't think so?
No. They were ready to trade him before the suspension happened.
Yeah. And then they found out about it and they had to sit on it.
And then they went, no, we want to take your pick, but we're not going to.
Right. We can't
That would not be fair.
Coming up in the next hour, we're going to go through the rest of the AFC. All the AFC divisions with the 2022 schedule release coming out. Stick with us.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather has showed up in the forecast here off the Atlantic with some east winds across the Carolinas here. There's an area of low pressure that's in Park for the top of the weekend. down off the South Carolina coast. 56 degrees our low tonight, and some rain showers possible tomorrow, high 75. Chance for some hit-and-miss showers, thunder showers Sunday and Monday, kind of staying gray. High temps in the 70s and 80s. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. Power buys are back at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get limited time savings on top tools like $40 off their clutch 189-piece mechanic tool set or $170 off their Ironton 12,000-pound electric winch. Shop in-store or northerntool.com.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done. And you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Grainger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Staples Print and Marketing Services help small business print big with wide format signs and banners. Right now, get $10 off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. Offer ends 7/2. Visit staples.com/thisisyoursign for details. This is your sign to print big at Staples.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio stations.
I'm Doug Brown. We've got an NBA playoff doubleheader tonight on ESPN TV and the app starting at 7 Eastern with the Celtics and Bucks in Milwaukee. Coverage of that game also here on ESPN Radio with the Bucks leading the series 3-2. In another Game 6, the Warriors and Grizzlies in San Francisco tonight. Golden State leading 3-2. But ESPN's Kendrick Perkins believes Memphis is still in this.
Now they're starting to play with a little bit more IQ. They're playing with a little bit of sense of urgency. And I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors, and people keep saying, oh, they got the championship pedigree. They know how to turn it on. No, that was the old Golden State Warriors.
Kendrick Perkins on First Take. Broncos wideout Jerry Jeudy appeared in a Colorado courtroom this morning and was released on bond. Jeudy is charged with criminal tampering after a non-physical incident with the mother of his 1-year-old daughter. ESPN's Field Yates reports Ravens tight end Nick Boyle agrees to a restructured contract that will create almost $3 million in cap space for the team.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Doc Rivers, because he's been there the longest between him and James Harden. But that's okay, because I'm sure Doc will get another job.
Careful, Key. Be nice to him. He's heading your way. Get more from the guys Monday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Now your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, bank. That's bank. Enter it on our station website now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
And welcome back into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Of course, we're seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, and subscribe to the channel as well. We are covering in full the 2022 NFL schedule release, which happened last night, and we were covering it live in the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings, all of the NFC divisions. We've already covered those. Now it's time to talk about the AFC divisions. The AFC East. Jeremy's Jets. I guess we have to start there because, while you're so excited about your team, Jeremy, I still don't think there's going to be many wins on that schedule.
I think there's more than you do. They were done no favors by the schedule.
No.
The two best teams in the AFC North are what you start with. So you start with all four AFC North teams.
Mm-hmm.
You get the two that you had a shot to beat on the road. I gave them one. They got one of those.
They got
I
didn't give you one.
One of those.
I didn't give you one. In fact, you don't get a win for me until you play the New England Patriots in Week 8.
Yeah, I don't even kind of agree with you there.
Who are you supposed to beat?
I have them beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I haven't beaten the Dolphins in New York.
Which is hilarious to me that you think they'll beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's a big difference between Pittsburgh in September and in November. There's a big difference there. Plus, I don't buy your team nearly as much as everybody else does.
Nearly as much as you buy your own?
No. I mean, as nice as I was to the Jets, they still finish 7-10. That's about what they are. With this schedule, this is a 7-10 team.
Okay. To me, that's too many. But
this team's way better than you think they are.
I mean, I get it. You look at the roster and you go, they should be good on paper. But you got a whole lot of rookies. You got a question mark still at quarterback, in my opinion. I know you feel great about his locker room or his gym videos.
I just like that he's put in the work. Everything I've heard out of New York's been good. And now the underrated part of the Jets, and this is why I gave them a win against New England in New York. That's why I gave them a win against Miami in New York. That secondary is top 5 in the league now. It's top 5 in the league. Sauce Gardner was unequivocally the number 1 corner in this class. They heavily invested in slot guys last year. You have pass rushers. I think they're going to sign Larry Ogunjobi and Quan Alexander within the next 48 hours.
Okay.
That's the vet leadership you need. The line's good. You're going to be able to run the ball. That team's really talented. That's young. So I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to make the playoffs. I think if you hear that, those people are out of their minds. But I do think this team's markedly better. And they're going to be tough to play at home. I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret about the Jets. It's why I laughed at 5.5 wins. This fan base, which I have been a member of for my entire life, they've wanted this team to be good for the better part of 30 years. This is the most hope they've ever had. I mean, I go back to the Bill Parcells years. So those early games in New York are going to be way tougher than you think. The problem is that it's Baltimore and Cincinnati that has to withstand that.
Right.
And I don't think they're going to win one of those. I am starting 1-3. I do think there's a possibility they would beat the Browns if there's no Deshaun Watson. Jacoby Brissett, the turnover machine against that defense. Yep. But I don't think that's going to happen, so I gave it to Cleveland.
Okay. But you do pick up one against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We do,
on the road.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I mean, I like your players. I just don't know how I don't see it all coming together. You are still a year away from being a year away from me.
You're drunk on that. You're a year away, and the NFL stopping just hammering you on the schedule. If this schedule was prettier, I think you would realize how much you actually like that talent more than you think you do.
Yeah.
The problem is that you're coming up against the toughest division to me outside of the AFC West in football. And that's what you start with.
Your first 9 weeks are just so tough.
And see, I'm not as dead sold on that as you are because I don't think Denver's as good as you do. I think New England is dog water. And I'm not at Cleveland without Deshaun Watson. There's a path that goes even better than I think it does. Now, I'm not going to lie. They don't start off particularly well, but after the bye week, it thins out a little bit.
You got so many teams on there that I believe in more than your Jets. Like you said, the first 3 games with the Browns, the Ravens, and the Bengals. I don't even really care if Deshaun Watson plays.
And that's one of the dumber things. You've said that to me. That is the 3rd time you've said that to me today. And that is the dumbest thing you have said all day.
No.
I don't. Do you remember Jacoby Brissett in Miami? I need you to understand his weapons in Miami were better than they would be in Cleveland.
Really? With Amari Cooper?
And then Amari Cooper and
2 running backs who will go down your throat?
Yep. And you would see 8 in the box constantly. That's my fear with Cleveland. And we'll talk about Cleveland later in this hour. If you saw some weird suspension on Deshaun Watson, that could go off the rails.
Okay.
I have a spicy on the Cleveland Browns.
And then you got the Dolphins, the Packers, the Broncos, all right there together. Then you get the Patriots, which Bill always gets his team up for the Patriots or for the Jets.
Yeah, just since you mentioned the
and then you got the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this sweeping declaration since I've had a few Patriots fans that wanted to smart off at me about things I said last night.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait till you have to come to New York. I'm gonna let you speak to this, so it's not me saying it. What team am I better connected to than any in the NFL?
It's the Jets.
Yeah, they were so perturbed about what Bill did to them last year.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do it to you. You mark my words.
Okay.
They will do it to you if given the opportunity, and I think they will have the opportunity.
Okay. The back half of that schedule, though, is where you're going to pick up wins.
Absolutely.
You got the Bears, you got the Jaguars, the Lions, the Seahawks. That's good for 4 winnable games on the back end of that schedule. All right, from the New York Jets, let's go to the New England Patriots.
This is where it gets fun for me. Who are you going to beat before you play the Detroit Lions? You tell me in the first 4 weeks of that schedule who exactly you're supposed to beat.
I don't have them winning any of those games.
Neither do I.
They've got the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. They've got the Miami Dolphins on the road. They got the Ravens and the Packers.
Their schedule is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unequivocally brutal. I have New England going 5-12.
I do as well.
I don't think this team's good. I don't. You benefited last year because the Dolphins were not there. There was a lot of turmoil, a lot of strife. The Jets were awful.
Mm-hmm.
And the schedule was nice. Not this year.
Yeah.
Not this year, it's not.
I went through the schedule and I went, okay, these teams I know are clearly better than you. And then there were other games where I went, there's a chance that Bill could outcoach your coach.
Who's the yeah but? Give me the yeah but games on the schedule. This is always where I know, am I being delusional? Am I missing something? This is my new Cincinnati Bengals rule. All right, you tell me talent for talent, who they're even in the ballpark of.
Oh, the Chicago Bears.
That's one of the wins.
Right.
And I think I made it clear enough that I'm not talking about the Lions and the Bears.
Yeah, they got the Lions and the Bears.
I'm talking about the games you have them losing. You tell me who they're even close to. They'll get eviscerated by the Bills twice.
Uh-huh.
They'll get just demolished by the Miami Dolphins once.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have them beating Miami in New England.
Mm-hmm.
You still win 5 games. There's a lot of Bengals, a lot of at the Raiders, that's coached by your former offensive coordinator, who I promise you will take the opportunity to shellac you if he gets the opportunity.
Yep.
I don't think this team's good.
That's one of the games that I have them winning narrowly.
The Raiders?
Yeah.
In Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Seacrest out on that. I am Seacrest out on that.
I got to go to that whole sensei versus the teacher versus the student thing. And I'm going to side with Bill on that one. Now, it may get to this point in the season because that's in week 15. It may get to the point in the season where we go, okay, the Raiders are just unstoppable and there's no shot that Bill has to outcoach.
Who defends Devontae Adams? End of message.
That's a great question.
Yeah, end of message.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's defense looks really good when the secondary's really good.
Right.
It's not. It's not.
Miami Dolphins. I loved their offseason. I loved everything
their offseason
that they did.
I did not love their schedule.
You did not like the schedule. Okay. I mean, it's pretty tough to start out because that's a team that I have starting 1-4. You get the New England Patriots to start out the season, and then you go Ravens, Bills, Bengals. That's 3 losses.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think it's even that close.
And then
you're going to roll off some wins
mm-hmm.
because you got the Jets, winnable game. You got Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be a tough one, but you could win that. You got Pittsburgh Steelers, Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears. All those games winnable.
At the end of the day, I come back to Miami with Tua Tagovailoa. And what I can unsee is the clip that has been circulating all over the interwebs where Tyreek Hill has to come back to catch the deep ball, and it looks like he's fielding the punt.
Mm-hmm.
That's what scares me. I like a lot of what you have. This is a very different scheme than you're used to. So there's going to be some acclimation.
Mm-hmm.
I do think they're going to prove a point against New England because there's just a huge talent deficiency there. Then you go Baltimore, Buffalo, at the Bengals, at the Jets. You catch Minnesota and Pittsburgh at home before you finally lull off to a couple games that you should definitively win. I have Miami going with 9-8.
Really?
I think that's what they are.
Okay.
I think they're a 9-8 football team.
I got them at 10-7.
You probably have them beating the Jets both times, and I don't.
I do.
I think those two teams are drastically closer than you do.
Okay.
And that's not me being a homer. If I was being a homer, I'd say, we're actually the second best team in this division.
Again, I wonder how good Mike McDaniel is going to be at limiting the opportunity for Tua to screw it up.
Armchair,
and that's why he went out this offseason and got 5 running backs.
Armchair, our resident Patriots fan, said you also had them winning no more than 7 games last year. Mm-hmm. How'd that playoff game go?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to keep going back to that. Look at that. Look at that schedule. Tell me how that playoff game went.
Right. Now I got them at 10 wins, and I think that there's a possibility that they could be the last playoff team in the AFC.
And see, I don't see that. I don't see that.
And then your 2022 or 2021 Super Bowl champion, Buffalo Bills. With Secret Time, they're his 2022 Super Bowl.
You don't know that. I hadn't told you that yet.
You've already said it. You already said it at the early stages of this offseason that you thought they were going to win the championship again.
I changed my mind. You don't know.
Buffalo Bills, this is another team that's hard to find the losses.
I have 3.
And
they're
4.
all 3 on the road. At Baltimore, at Kansas City, at Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to level. I don't see how they lose any of the rest of these.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how somebody's supposed to go into Ralph Wilson and beat them.
Yeah. I have 4 losses for them as well.
You have them losing to the Rams week 1, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. That's the discrepancy between the two of us.
I do. I got the I got them losing to the Rams. I also have them losing at home to the Cleveland Browns.
I don't. Let's just slide into the North because I feel like you and I have a massive disagreement on this division.
Oh, into the AFC North?
Yep.
All right.
I feel like we drastically disagree on this.
Well, we're probably going to drastically disagree on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, let's start there then.
Because I think they're one of the worst teams in the NFL.
I do not. And I do not see how, after you got burned by this exact same thing last year, I do not see how you're falling for this again.
I'm falling for it again because I look at their schedule and I go, God, it's just so tough.
I don't disagree with any of that.
I mean, you got the Panthers, you got the Falcons. I mean, those are very winnable games. You got the Jets on the schedule, which I think you'll win. I think you got the New England Patriots as well as a win. And from there, I don't know who else you're supposed to beat.
I'm not sitting here telling you this is a playoff team because they're just flat out not.
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing dirt on them way quicker than I'm comfortable doing.
And I said this last year. I know I got it wrong because Mike Tomlin doesn't lose like this.
Mm-hmm. Fact or fiction, Mitch Trubisky right now is a better quarterback than Ben Roethlisberger was last year.
I would say
it's a
close.
fact, and it's not even close.
I'd say it's close.
Ben didn't have an arm by week 9 last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even close. And here's the thing that nobody's talking about. He's way more multiple. Ben was a statue.
Mm-hmm.
Ben in a foot race would lose to me. Who does that benefit? Najee Harris. This team is going to win by doing that thing that everybody's going away from. Where you're missing this is there are only, 4 teams in the league that can really just line up 12 personnel and just absolutely punch you in the mouth. Pittsburgh Steelers are one of them. You like the other 3, but you don't like Pittsburgh, which makes 0 sense to me.
Who are the other 3?
Philadelphia, Baltimore, and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
You like all 3 of them, but you hate Pittsburgh, in spite of the fact they're going to do the exact same thing. That's the dirty little secret of Pittsburgh. This league has gotten smaller, quicker, and less stout as time has gone on. What did they do? All they did was get gigantic. Look at the line. Look at the running backs. Look at the quarterback who's mobile enough that you have to look at the fact that he can actually break containment and beat you that way.
Mm-hmm.
They're a really poor man's Baltimore. It's exactly what this team is. They're going to beat you defensively. And they're so good at getting after quarterbacks that it's going to be hard for you to score a lot of points on them. And, oh, by the way, the secondary is way better this year than it was last.
Okay.
Now, all of that being said, I still have them going 9-8. So it's not like, oh, they're so good. I genuinely think you believe they're going to go 4-13 or something absolutely ridiculous.
Bingo.
Yeah, that's
Nailed
insane.
Nailed
that is
it.
insane.
And that was better than the first time I went through the schedule because I had them with 3 wins.
Yeah, I'll take the. You know what? I feel like that could be our first board wager of the year because I think you are absolutely drunk out of your mind.
I am.
I'll go all the way to 6.5 and take anything you want.
Right.
Anything. Now that being said, they do still finish last in this division.
Of course they do.
Just that good.
Of course they do because I think everybody else in the division is that much better than them. And again, I don't feel like they got any favors with the schedule because they do have to play the New Orleans Saints. They got to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got the Miami Dolphins, the Bengals, obviously the Ravens twice. You got the Raiders. I don't see how you're going to keep up with them. The Buffalo Bills are on this schedule. It's a daunting schedule, and that's why I think they pick up so many losses this year. But again, have to say it, Mike Tomlin's a great coach. He very well could figure out a way. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. I really don't care about the Deshaun Watson thing. I mean, obviously it's going to matter if the commissioner comes out and says, oh, he's done for half the season. I don't think that's happening. I've already stated I think that there will be a suspension, and I think it's going to be 4 games.
I have already stated I don't think there will be a suspension.
Mm-hmm.
I did the schedule that way.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Cleveland Browns at 11-6. Now, I also have them starting 4-0. If we'll go with your 4-game suspension.
Yep.
If Deshaun Watson misses the first 4 games of this season, they go 8-9 and miss the playoffs by a drastic amount because they will start 1-3. Their first win will be against the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
You trot Jacoby Brissett. Well, I shouldn't have said it that way. They'll beat Carolina in Carolina. So they go 9-8. That's to me, that suspension is the difference. Do the Browns make the playoffs or do they not make the playoffs?
Okay. I don't care. I think they have the capability, the weapons that they have, the ability to run the ball. I think the defense is good. I think they have the ability to win all 4 of those first games.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Because this makes absolutely no sense to me. Who is a better quarterback right now, Jacoby Brissett or Mitch Trubisky?
Oh, it's Mitch.
Okay. Who has better receivers, the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Cleveland Browns? The fact you're thinking,
it's the
I was about to
Pittsburgh
say,
Steelers.
the fact you're thinking about this is bothering me.
Well, I got to think about
who
on
has
the
the better running backs.
Oh, it's Cleveland.
Not by as much as you think. Nick Chubb and Najee Harris to me with legitimate lines, it's a wash. Okay, you have 2 of them. Sweet. Whose defense is better?
Pittsburgh.
There you go. You hate one and you love the other. That makes 0 sense to me. None. And Cleveland's schedule is tougher than Pittsburgh's is. That makes absolutely unequivocally no sense to me. You've been doing it all day, and I've been waiting to bait you into this.
You're not baiting me into anything. The first 4 games of that schedule, you got to get past the Steelers. That's the toughest
and
one.
the Jets. I'm telling you right now, you undersell that team. You go into Cleveland with Jacoby Brissett, it will not go well.
Okay.
The last time we saw him start a game, he threw 3 interceptions and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And with Jalen Waddle and Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki, you do realize it's Amari Cooper and a bunch of question marks, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cleveland's one of those teams I look at and go, you know what? I'm going to bet the under because there are so many people like you that have this nonsensical argument on them, and I don't know what they are. The problem is right now I can't get them. I would be eating this bet alive if I could get it anywhere. But Vegas agrees with me, and they're terrified of how leveraged they would be if there's no Deshaun Watson.
Right.
With him, they're not a division contender with him to me. I still like Cincinnati better. I still like Baltimore better.
Agreed.
Without him, and especially if you told me it was for anything more than 4 games, that team's in trouble.
Yep.
Because what we didn't say here, look what happens after that 4-game stretch. You go Chargers, New England Patriots at the Ravens, Bengals in your house. I got news for you. Deshaun Watson does not start this season. That team's 2-6, and I think I'm being nice because I'm giving you one of those Jets or Pittsburgh Steelers games, and I think you'd lose both of them. They could be 1-7 if he missed the first half of the year. That's how big of a difference there is here.
Yeah.
Now,
again, I don't think
with him, I have them at 5-3, 6-2, somewhere in there.
I think Deshaun will be around for the majority of the schedule.
Well, like I said, I think he'll be around for every game. I don't see how you're going to convince a judge, which is where this would go. That would go to arbitration. Guy didn't play a snap last year. Well, technically, we didn't suspend him. Could he have played for the team he played for? No.
Yep.
And they made that very clear.
Yep.
I think you're going to struggle to get a judge to side with you. An arbiter, or however exactly that would go.
If you get a full season, I think that's a 12-win team. If you get a full season of Deshaun Watson, they get 12 wins.
I have them at 11 with Deshaun ugly without him.
Problem is, at the top of the division, you got the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll take a quick break. We'll do the rest of the AFC North and the other two divisions in the AFC as well. Coming up next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather has showed up in the forecast here off the Atlantic with some east winds across the Carolinas here. There's an area of low pressure that's in Park for the top of the weekend down off the South Carolina coast. 56 degrees our low tonight, and some rain showers possible tomorrow, high 75. Chance for some hit-and-miss showers, thunder showers Sunday and Monday, kind of staying gray. High temps in the 70s and 80s. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slowing between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slowing approaching Brevard Road to the French Broad River. 40 westbound crawling between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Near Inca Village, Sardis Road northbound between Sand Hill Road and Pond Road. Heavy delays. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road north and southbound near Long Shoals Road is slow. Hendersonville Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Peel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. You've heard the latest news, traffic, and weather. But there's something else you should hear. Consider getting a COVID-19 booster, as recommended by the CDC. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
I'm Katie Dean. I'm a Democrat running for Congress, and I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, May 17th. I'm a Class 5 kayaker, mountain biker, environmental engineer, and I run an auto repair shop with my husband. I've spent the best moments of my life in Western North Carolina. We have to protect our public lands, but politicians aren't listening and don't understand. Send someone to Congress who has the grit to protect what makes Western North Carolina so special. I'm Katie Dean. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Katie Dean for Congress.
Feast on the new White Hot Ranch Nacho Fries. Marinated grilled steak loaded on golden, boldly seasoned fries, topped with warm nacho cheese, sour cream, cheddar cheese, tomatoes, and the new White Hot Ranch sauce. At a participating Taco Bell location near you for a limited time only.
The Winston-Salem Journal called it stolen valor. Madison Cawthorn lied about being accepted to the Naval Academy to get elected. In perpetual pursuit of celebrity, Cawthorn will lie about anything. That's why the Citizen-Times calls Cawthorn an attention-seeking embarrassment. Now, Madison Cawthorn starring in Vladimir Putin's state-owned TV. Putin used Cawthorn's outrageous views to defend his evil war crimes. And while Putin slaughtered innocent Ukrainians, Cawthorn voted against sanctioning Putin and banning the Russian oil funding Putin's terror. Worse than helping our enemies, Madison Cawthorn hurts our heroes. Cawthorn's plan cuts veterans' benefits by $80 billion. Devastating cuts to America's finest. It's shameful. Lying, limelight-loving Madison Cawthorn helps our enemies, but hurts our heroes. Results for NC paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.resultsfornc.com.
Okay, we need to talk about the savings I just got at Kohl's. Since the weather's getting warmer, I picked up some new tops for just $21.99, found shorts for $19.99, and got a pair of sandals for just $17. Oh, and on top of those already amazing deals, you can get an extra 15% off or even more with the Kohl's card. So yeah, if you're looking for more style and more savings, do yourself a favor and head to Kohl's. Select styles, 15% offer ends May 15th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, live from the Ingles Studio. And yes, breaking news, it appears that Jarvis Landry's going back home. The New Orleans Saints, according to reports, are going to be signing Jarvis Landry, and that means that offense could be terrifying.
I mean, I like the move. It's just now you have 3 slot receivers.
And that's fine.
I mean, I don't care.
Right.
I didn't say I cared. It's just that would be a little unnerving to me.
Jameis Winston now has all of the targets to play with Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, and a guy that we believed in when he was drafted, Adam Troutman.
I like this New Orleans team a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot.
Yep. So you and I already went through the process today of picking the games after the 2022 NFL schedule release, and we both got them winning the division. That case just got very much stronger with the addition of Jarvis Landry. Let's get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, I told you yesterday about a weird lawsuit, and now here's another one. Just a reminder, you can no longer call men bald because that's sexual harassment.
Coming from the bald guy.
Exactly. This one comes to us from India, where a pair of parents are very upset with their kid. Well, he's no longer a kid. He's a grown-up now. And they have put all of their life savings into making sure that he had the best start possible to his life. They sent him to America, paid for him to go through school. He was going to be a pilot. He never got the job. He comes back to India. They put him up for 2 years, arranged a marriage for him, and now it's been 2 years since he's been married to this woman, and there is no grandchild. So they are suing him for emotional distress because they don't have a grandchild. They say it's been mental torture not to have a grandchild to play with, and that if they had one, then it would be easier to cope with the fact that they drained their life savings to set their son up. So they are suing their own son for $650,000 unless there's a child born within the next year.
I don't think you're going to get to play with that child regardless. This is the definition of frivolous lawsuit. Like, go away.
I don't know. The culture is so different in India that a judge may go with them.
And I completely get that.
Right.
But yeah, you have broken a relationship here. I feel like the courts were not required for this. A Washington State trooper made a surprising discovery on Wednesday. He got behind a U-Haul, and there was something about the U-Haul that was a little strange to him. It had 2 license plates. Because whoever rented this had driven a geo-tracker into the back of the U-Haul. It's literally held in place by bungee cords. They rented a U-Haul to drive a car. Obviously, the trooper, his name was Trooper Cunningham, pulled them over on Highway 97, just north of Okanagan, Washington.
Good try.
I don't know. It's a lot of there's a lot of consonants.
Jonathan Welch, you're from up that way.
Okanagan is what it looks like. Well, when he cited the driver for an unsafe procedure, why did you do this? Thinking that he would say the car doesn't run. So he didn't want to drive it. He didn't want to drive it. So he drove it in the back of a U-Haul and bungeed it into the back.
Mm-hmm.
The back wheels are hanging out of the back of this U-Haul.
Oh, my gosh.
And here's the thing, and maybe this is me just looking at this objectively. Had you gotten a bigger U-Haul, no one would have ever known. You went cheap on the U-Haul, so the back end of the car was hanging out.
But would it not have been cheaper to get a truck?
It would have been cheaper to just drive the car.
Well, they do give you trailers.
Oh, well, in theory. I didn't even think of that.
So you could have rented a truck from U-Haul, like a pickup truck, with the trailer to haul your car on. I've done that before.
Jonathan Welch has weighed in. It's Okanagan.
Okanagan.
Okay. Thank you for spelling that phonetically.
We
really need to normalize spelling things phonetically.
Which is also the legal term for beating someone in the head with a stick. Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah. 2022 NFL schedule release. We're going over all of the schedules here, and let's talk about the two top teams, expected to be anyway, in the AFC North. The Cincinnati Bengals, your defending Super Bowl runner-up.
The reigning, defending AFC champion, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, Cincinnati Bengals, another one that goes, so last year it was, where are they going to win a game? And this year it's, where are they going to lose a game?
Yeah, it's a little different. And this schedule is brutal.
I don't think it matters.
I still have them going 13-4.
I do too.
I still have them going 13-4.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know who's supposed to go in there and beat them on their own home field. I do have them losing a couple games on the road. I'm losing at Baltimore, at Cleveland, at Pittsburgh, and at Tampa Bay. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I got them losing to Buffalo on their own home field. It's the only one.
And that's one of those pivot games. They've got Kansas City. They could lose that one. I don't have them losing that one, though.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at worst they're 11-6. I'm probably on the high side because I do really like this team.
Yeah. I actually have them at 14-3.
I have them 13-4.
Because I don't have them losing to my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just don't see how that defense is going to be able to stop them. It'll be close. It'll be a shootout game, much like their game with Kansas City is going to be.
I think that game, Week 18, will be for the division. Them and the Baltimore Ravens, because I have Baltimore going 13-4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the way this broke down, whoever wins that will win the division.
Yep.
And the loser will be the first wild card. And this is such a good division.
It is. Especially if you get a full season of Deshaun Watson. You're going to have three teams that are very, very hard to beat. The Baltimore Ravens, I also had them at 14-3, and they win the tiebreaker.
So we both had them tied,
mm-hmm.
and you just had them winning the tiebreaker.
Yep.
With one more win than I did.
Yep. I didn't do the tiebreaker myself. This little program that we use picked the tiebreaker for
Which is
us.
phenomenal. People should make more apps like this that make life easier.
Yep. Next.playoffpredictors.com was the website that I found.
Yeah, you kind of need to learn how to use Flash, but, it's
fine. It's fine. The Baltimore Ravens, I had them losing on the road to the New Orleans Saints. I got them losing on the road to the Cleveland Browns late in the season and on the road to the Cincinnati Bengals to close it out. That's how the division got tied at the end. Didn't matter because the tiebreaker went to the Baltimore Ravens anyway. I just don't see As long as this team stays healthy, I think they are the best team in the AFC.
They're very daunting. They added a ton in the draft. I've loved everything Baltimore's done. And really all they had to do to be really formidable was get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now they seem to be healthy, and they've added a lot of toys to that team.
Yes, indeed. Now, the most competitive division, as was said by Jeremy Greene earlier today, is the AFC West. You still stand by that?
I do. I think it's the best division I've ever seen in the NFL.
Russell Wilson goes to Denver, and the Denver Broncos, can they break through with Russell Wilson? Will it be, though he's just a winner, will that make that much of a difference for them to make some noise in the AFC West?
Will it make a difference? Yes. They're going to be much tougher than they were a year ago, obviously. That being said, I don't think they're as good as everybody makes them out to be.
Well, some believe that they're a no-doubt playoff team.
And I don't.
And I don't either. I don't have them in the playoffs. I have them breaking even on the season.
You're right there with me. I've got them at 9-8. I got them at 9-8. At the end of the day, they're still the worst team in this division. I feel like Russell Wilson left one situation in the NFC for another in the AFC that is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a year from now, could that be different? Absolutely. Could things break your way? Yeah. I don't think you're going into L.A. and beating the Rams. I don't think you're going into Kansas City and beating the Chiefs. They lose a lot of games on the road.
Yeah. The thing that hurt them the most was the fact that everybody else in the AFC, or at least the contenders in the AFC, got better.
And they got better, just not as much better.
Last year, if you'll remember, you kept giving me the business because I kept saying they are a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. Well, now they got Russell Wilson, and I still don't feel like they're a Super Bowl contender.
I don't either. I think they're a good team. They're a just outside of the playoff team, but I think they're easily the worst team in this division.
Mm-hmm. They start out the season with a rough stretch with the 49ers, the Raiders, the Colts, and the Chargers. Tough 4-game stretch. We're going to know who this team is within the first 7 weeks of the season. Now let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. How do you feel about your Raiders? This is the team last year that I took so much crap from we're better than you think we are. Well, I still feel like you're the third best team in this division.
I do as well. And I think you're probably going to have them better than I do. I have them at 10-7.
I do too. That's exactly where I have them.
They had no favors done at the beginning of the schedule. They're in the same boat that the Jets are in. The two winnable games early are they're in the exact opposite position. The games that you should have won are at home. The games against teams that are as good as you or better are on the road. So I have them starting 2-3 but finishing 10-7.
Mm-hmm. I'm very similar to you. 10-7 is about the best I can do. The first time I went through the schedule, I had 13 wins for this team, and I think I went a little too far. But it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if they got hot. And
they're going to be very good, and they're going to be very tough to stop offensively.
Yeah, the Derek Carr, Devontae Adams marriage, maybe it is as good as we all think it's going to be. Los Angeles Chargers. I went through the schedule, and I got them at 11-6. It's the best I could do. I think year 2 of Brandon Staley is going to be different. And I just feel like their offense is going to be so formidable that that's what's going to carry them through. And that's not even counting what they added on the defensive side with Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson.
And see, I'm more overboard on the Chargers. I have them 13-4.
Okay.
To me, there's not a lot of losable games on the schedule. I mean, you look at that game with Cleveland. Could they go into Cleveland and lose? They could.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Jacoby Brissett, not a shot. Not a shot. I have it with Deshaun Watson, and I don't think Cleveland would have a shot in that circumstance.
I do too.
I just think they're very, very good.
I think that would be. I think that'll be Deshaun's first game back, and you shouldn't expect them to win that game.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care if he's played every one of those. I have chalked this up as he will be there.
Mm-hmm.
I still have them losing to the Chargers.
And how about the Kansas City Chiefs? They lost Tyreek Hill in the offseason, but other than that, we still believe in the core of this team. The defense is still a question for me, but how much better did it get?
I think losing Tyrann Mathieu is more of a issue than people make it to be. I think losing Tyreek Hill is going to be a headache. And yet I still can't find many games that I think they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
That team is so talented. They're so well coached. I have them 14-3 winning the division.
I got them at 13-4, winning the division. They'll be the 3 seed in the playoffs.
And I mean, there are some pivotal games with the Chiefs, especially early, because you get Tampa in Tampa, which I think they will win. I just don't like the way, first of all, what you did to them in the Super Bowl. They have not forgotten that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't love how you match up with a team that's this multiple. They have 5 receivers that are going to be basically interchangeable pieces. And I don't like that matchup.
But it
Could
doesn't
they lose
matter
that?
that any
Absolutely.
of them are, none of them are that good.
I don't agree with you. Juju Smith-Schuster is a fantastic slot receiver. Sky Moore is going to be really hard to line up with because he's so fast.
Okay.
And you just have a lot of that. There are a lot of players on that team are really fast. I think they're going to run the ball better than they did last year. And the defense is pretty good.
Okay. I mean, I still haven't winning the division. I just don't see them as the usual no-doubter, I guess I could say.
They are a team that they could make me look dumb. Not to the point of San Francisco, Cleveland, a couple others. But I just believe in Andy Reid, and as long as Pat Mahomes is the quarterback of that team, I don't really care.
All right, how about the AFC South? Yeah, we got 2 teams that are way above the other 2 teams in this division.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and knock out the 2 bad ones.
Jacksonville Jaguars. How many wins you got?
Not many.
I have not.
You have none?
I don't have them winning a game.
You don't have them winning a game?
Nope, I didn't. And I know that's not going to happen.
I do. But it's only, their schedule's gross.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe in the team. They might be able to snake one on the road against the Detroit Lions at some point. They could win one at home against the Houston Texans.
I've got them beating the Giants and the Texans. That's their 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that team's just not good.
No.
It's not good. It's listless, and the schedule is brutal. They have the toughest schedule of a team that's this bad that I think I've ever seen.
They have the chance to be a favorite in one game. And that's...
I don't even know what that is.
The Houston Texans.
Well, it's Houston when they play in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I think they will be favored against the Giants in Jacksonville.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, but other than that, I don't know who they're supposed to beat.
Right.
I mean, you think they're going to go on the road and beat the Eagles or the Chargers or the Chiefs?
I said the same thing about them last year, and they ended up getting a couple of surprise wins on the season. So they could theoretically do the same.
The third, I mean, it's just for posterity's sake. Outside of the 2 games with the Texans and the Giants, your 4th easiest game on the schedule is at the Jets. They're going to hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You do get that, right? I'm sure somebody's going to be, Jacksonville's way better. They spent all this money. And they're not drastically better than they were a year ago.
No, they're not. And they're not even really all that better on paper, in my opinion, than the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are in the same dang boat.
And the schedule looks exactly the same. The winnable games are on the road. So you would have to go into Chicago and beat them, which I don't see happening.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to, I mean, you're not beating Tennessee or Indianapolis or the Cowboys or the Dolphins. The Giants is on the road. I have them winning a game, and it's against Jacksonville and Houston.
I have them winning 2 games, and they're both against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oof. I didn't go that far. But the bottom of this division is terrible. That's why we did it quickly.
Exactly. Now, the rest of the AFC South, Tennessee Titans, how much, how can they even come close to being the number 1 seed again in the AFC playoffs? I don't think so.
No, I think Tennessee at this point is one of those teams that you have a few pivotal games that, depending on how they go, and I had them splitting with Indianapolis, depending on how those games go, you're either going to be a back end of the playoff team, or if Indianapolis fell on their face with the Matt Ryan thing just didn't work, or however that happens, you could still win the division. I just think Indianapolis is better than Tennessee, but I do still think they're a playoff team.
I've got them just on the outside of the playoffs at 11-6.
That's exactly where I have them, and they are the seventh team in the AFC playoffs.
Yeah, they got knocked out of the playoffs in my projections by the Los Angeles Chargers.
The Chargers are my 6th.
So they're gonna be in a dogfight for a playoff spot. It all comes down to how good can Ryan Tannehill be, and how much can Treylon Burks supplant what they miss from A.J. Brown being dealt. Derrick Henry stays healthy. This is a team that can punch anybody in the mouth. We've seen that over and over and over again. I mean, heck, even in the Buffalo game last year. Remember how they just surprisingly hung in with them, and then Buffalo couldn't capitalize at the end of the game to get the win. So there will be opportunities for them to win a lot of games, but I just feel like they're a team that's not there yet. And then there's the Indianapolis Colts, which their schedule, compared to what they're putting out on the field, with Matt Ryan now at quarterback, with better weapons now, with that running game, with better defense, it was hard for me to find losses.
I had them losing at the Raiders, home against the Chiefs, splitting with the Titans, and losing in Denver.
That's it?
That's it.
Yeah.
13-4, and I have them win the division.
I got them at 14-3. And I know that's high side, that's pie in the sky, but I got them at 14-3. And they're right there in a fight for the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. All right, do you want to go through the playoffs now?
We'll do it on the other side of the commercial.
We'll do it on the other side of the commercial break. We'll be right back here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Heavy traffic volume and delays, 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Future 26 eastbound light volume between Bavard Road and the French Broad River. 40 westbound crawling between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Near Inca Village, Sardis Road northbound between Sand Hill Road and Pond Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. On Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by COVIDclinic.org. Summer is here. Proms, vacations, family time, and grad nights. Don't bring COVID-19 to the party. The next surge could be just ahead. Keep your loved ones safe. Visit your local COVID clinic and get a PCR or rapid result test. Life is for living. Book a test. COVIDclinic.org. That's COVIDclinic.org.
By now, you know how regenerative medicine is amazingly effective at treating joint pain. QC Kinetics has helped thousands of people get their life back pain-free. They're now using the same regenerative protocols to restore thinning hair for men and women with astonishing results. It's hair restoration without surgery. Natural biologic treatments that can restore aging hair follicles, giving you thicker, fuller hair. Regenerative medicine is such a breakthrough, it uses your own body's powerful growth and healing agents, highly concentrated and applied directly to the affected area. No drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. So if you're losing your hair due to aging, pattern baldness, or a medical condition, call now to learn more about exciting natural biologic treatments that can stimulate those dormant hair follicles. Get it growing naturally again. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 828-333-9517. With locations in Asheville and in Greenville. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
Okay, we need to talk about the savings I just got at Kohl's. Since the weather's getting warmer, I picked up some new tops for just $21.99, found shorts for $19.99, and got a pair of sandals for just $17. Oh, and on top of those already amazing deals, you can get an extra 15% off or even more with the Kohl's card. So yeah, if you're looking for more style and more savings, do yourself a favor and head to Kohl's. Select styles, 15% offer ends May 15th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Let's plan on one having concessions over there.
Mike is remodeling the old family drive-in movie theater.
Go find Gavin. Tell him the sound team is here.
He'll need a new front-of-house cast and behind-the-scenes crew.
Hey, can we talk staffing real quick? I'm thinking at least 6 per shift.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Back here on ESPN Asheville, Tank Spencer and Flostradamus Jeremy Greene. All right, playoffs. Talk about playoffs already? All right, let's see. What do we got?
For me, the first round of the AFC playoffs, you get the Chargers and the Colts, the Ravens and the Bengals, the Titans and the Bills. I would take the Bengals, Bills, Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
NFC, you get the Bucks at the Eagles, Rams at the Saints, Vikings at the Packers. I would go Bucks, Rams, Packers.
Okay. I like it. I have the Ravens get the bye. They ended up as the number 1 seed.
That's who got my bye as well.
For me. Your other playoff teams end up being, it's not showing me the full bracket here.
I apologize. My bye was Kansas City.
So you end up with the Indianapolis Colts against the Los Angeles Chargers. You've got the Kansas City Chiefs against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Buffalo Bills against the Cleveland Browns. Over in the NFC, the Rams were my number 1 overall seed. You got the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings in the first round, Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers, and the New Orleans Saints going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. I pared all of that down to being a Super Bowl matchup between the Rams and the Ravens. And the Ravens are my winner.
And I pared all mine down to a matchup between, if you saw us do this show last year, this should sound very familiar. A matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and my 2023 Super Bowl champion, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
All right, we're both picking AFC teams to win the Super Bowl this year in our first gut reaction breakdown of the 2022 NFL schedule.
And yes, we do see how absolutely ludicrous it is to go through this, but
no doubt
it is shocking if you look to what we did last year when we did this, how accurate it was.
Mm-hmm.
I got 6 of the 7 playoff teams in the AFC, and I got 5 of the 7 playoff teams in the NFC. Now, we won't talk about those that I missed because those did not go particularly well. And the Cincinnati Bengals were they're the champion of that.
Yep. I got the Ravens. He's got the Bills. And we'll see how this season does unfold.
Oh, it's so good. We've got a schedule. We can buy tickets. We can do all of the things that we have to do with the NFL season.
It's going to be a whole lot of fun going through the entire off-season process, and has been fun going through the entire off-season process here with each and every one of you. We've got today Jarvis Landry winding up with the New Orleans Saints, which shifts the balance of power a little bit in the NFC South. It's going to be a fun one, and we're glad you're along on the ride with us here in the Ingles Studio. Always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and best of luck to your team in this upcoming season.
We'll be back right here at 3 o'clock on Monday. Full week of shows. We're not going to have football to talk about, but we're going to have a lot of fun.
You never know how the NFL is going to win the day on the media cycle.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, some gray weather has showed up in the forecast here off the Atlantic with some east winds across the Carolinas here. There's an area of low pressure that's in park for the top of the weekend down off the South Carolina coast. 56 degrees our low tonight, and some rain showers possible tomorrow, high 75. Chance for some hit-and-miss showers, thunder showers Sunday and Monday, kind of staying gray. High temps in the 70s and 80s. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Finding a great hire can be a challenge. That's why there's Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 toward your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Heavy traffic volume and delays, 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Future 26 eastbound light volume between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. 40 westbound crawling between Vines Creek Road and Harmon Bend Road. Near Inca Village, Sardis Road northbound between Sand Hill Road and Pond Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. On Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance, where you only pay for what you need.
Liberty. Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.